Chapter 5. Oana waits until she is alone before sitting up on the stone floor. The layer of loose grit resting on her finds new life with the movement. She coughs, wiping her nose on her wristband. She looks around. "Excuse me," a soft voice says, startling her. "Would you like some help up?" Oana is surprised to see a young woman. She looks young enough that Oana might consider her closer to girlhood. Her skin is muted ash tone with glowing copper capillaries surfacing sporadically across her left arm, shoulder, cheek, and forehead. She has dark eyes, full lips, and dark hair styled into intricate braids that frame her face before joining into a single long braid resting over her shoulder. "Sure." She reaches out toward the girl's hands. "You are more put together than anyone else I've met so far," she blurts. "What does that mean, put together?" "I mean, well, your clothes look nicer than most people here. Mavis wears rags, yet this girl's clothes look almost new." "I understand now. I recently arrived." She wears a form-fitting, sleeveless, dark charcoal tunic with a high collar and golden trim along the seams. A stylized golden flame emblem is embroidered into the left side of her chest. A wide, dark leather belt with a matching flame-shaped metallic buckle cinches her waist. "You're new here too?" Oana perks up. The girl looks at Oana's tattered and worn-out clothes. "The military brought me with all the new people last time." "Right. I mean, I got hit in the head," she defaults. The girl nods. She starts toward the tunnel. "Coming?" Torn, Oana considers her options. She reluctantly follows the girl. "So, when you say that the military brought you, what does that mean?" The girl looks confused. "I hit my head," she states again, touching the bandage around her head. "I came from the palace. I was stationed in the laundry room. When I reached my 20th cycle, I was..." She trails off. "You were what?" "I was too old to stay," she shrugs. "So they sent me here with the others who reached 20 cycles." "And when you say they, you mean the military?" "Yes. I was loaded onto an ashback strider and brought here." Oana mouths the word ashback strider as her body recalls an image of a mountainous creature lumbering forward on 6 enormous legs, each thick enough to resemble a pillar beneath its body. Its feet spread wide against the broken ground, gripping stone and rubble as though the uneven terrain barely exists. Each step sounds as though a mountain is crashing down. The hostility and panic sweeping through the Emberborn crowd drowns out her memory as they near the tunnel exit. I don't want to go out there," Oana pleads, her voice cracking. "We need fresh air," the younger woman reasons. Oana contorts her dirt-covered face. "I think dying here sounds like a better idea." The younger woman looks at her. "Surely you have been through harder times than this." Oana doesn't know if the woman is asking or telling her this. "Have you woken up in a body that doesn't feel like your own, in a world you don't know, with a head injury, people angry you didn't die, ridiculed and hated, and then punched in the stomach for an accident, and you realize that you are completely alone?" "Yes." Oana feels as if this is the second time the wind has been knocked out of her today. Maybe it wasn't in that order, but I grew up in Sulvar as a slave, where your body is not your own, in a world that is not yours. Cruelty is prized there. Those of us who make it to adulthood are dumped off here and hunted for the remainder of our lives. How do you do it? Do what? Go on? She shrugs. What choice do you have? The young woman continues walking up the tunnel and out into the corridor. Oana looks down the tunnel to the vault. She looks back to the opening of the corridor where all the people are. What are we going to do now? People are asking. You said this would work, they accuse Truce. We didn't make as many clay pots to collect water because we were all working on the water harvesting system, some complain. Truce climbs up on a ledge of the corridor to make himself more visible to everyone. I'm just as disappointed as all of you are. There are some boos from the crowd. We all understood the risk going into this project. This was a dangerous mission from the start, and we knew mistakes were going to happen, he says above the crowd. It did work until someone let that clumsy fool down there, they charge. This isn't one person's fault. If this didn't happen now, something else would have. We don't survive by turning on our own. The only ones responsible for our circumstances are the Sulvarins, Truce says. Blaming each other isn't going to change the fact that hunting season is coming and we have to find a way to survive. What are we going to do now? This has set us back at least several days, the muscular man says, grabbing his injured back. I have been moving those rocks on my back for weeks. My foot is damaged. I'm as good as dead, the injured woman cries. We have to keep going, Truce says. We chose to use the old heart system to harvest water during the storm season for a reason. Need I remind you of that? It's late in the day, Culley joins in. Not much else we can do right now, but let it settle down. How about we pick this back up tomorrow? It's not going to be ready for the storms, someone states. We are all good as dead, someone else complains. The crowd grumbles as they disperse. The young woman who helped Oana tells the remaining group that she is still in the tunnel, afraid to come out. Thanks, Talia, Truce says, after a brief discussion of not me and I did it last time. They select Culley as the loser. Oana, he says to her as he enters the tunnel. What are you still doing in here? Deciding if life is worth it. She slid down the wall and is sitting with her knees up, defeated. Putting her legs flat against the ground hurts her back. Come on now. It's not that bad. He sits down next to her. It's pretty bad. I noticed the way you talk has changed, he says. You don't sound like yourself. That's because I'm not Oana. He looks her up and down. What do you mean? You look like Oana. I don't know what happened to Oana. After she hit her head, I mean. I don't know what happened to her. All I know is that I'm the one who woke up in her body. But I must admit, I understand why she didn't come back here. Then who are you? I don't remember who I am. I only remember pieces of her life. Culley leans back against the wall, thinking. After a moment, he lets out a laugh of relief. I'll be. Oana is free. His eyes tear up and he bites his lip against a trembling smile. You believe me? Oh, Anna would have been out there with Truce, backing him up, even after causing the wall to fall? Especially if she caused the wall to fall. He smiles with sparkling eyes. That girl had a fire inside. You act like you are going to miss her, she says sarcastically. He sniffs, wiping his nose. Yeah, I think I will. He looks down. You sound surprised. I am. I didn't think anyone would miss her. Oana made people care about her. In a world where caring is a liability, it can be challenging to people who never had anyone to care about them. Deep. Culley laughs and punches her playfully on the shoulder. Ow, she says, grabbing her arm. Come on, I barely even tapped you. I'll show you a tap. She raises her other arm to punch him, but he already moved out of the way. You'll have to be faster than that, he laughs. Suddenly, a deep groan blares through the corridor and rolls into the tunnel. Another answers it, then another, until the ruins seem to bellow from every direction. Culley's face turns serious. What is it? No, that can't be right. He runs out into the corridor. Oana tries to jump up to follow close behind him, but this body isn't made to follow like that. Using the cave wall, she steadies herself on her feet. What is it? She asks again, now outside. He peers out from under the awning. The wind howls through the stone city, and the sky is no longer a solid gray, but there are bright white clouds on the horizon. No, no, no! It's too early! He points to the sky. Oana looks up towards the brightening horizon. We must get to higher ground, so you can see what is coming. Okay. She turns to run up the corridor to the upper levels. Help me move this first, he says, pointing to the stone door near the tunnel opening. She runs back to the tunnel with Culley, and they push the heavy door. We can't let them know about this place, he says through the wind. Culley looks through the salvaged pieces he brought back earlier. He picks out a metal pipe, then stops and looks at Oana, considering if he should get something for her to use. He picks out a smaller pipe. Oana watches him with confusion. Whatever is coming, everyone else seems to know exactly what it means. She is the only one who doesn't. He hands her the smaller pipe. Come on, we have to go! He grabs a hold of her hand. They run up the corridor. The first sound of thunder rolls across the desert, causing a low vibration to move through the hoodoo ruins. Culley leads her up 2 levels and then stops suddenly. She leans against the wall out of breath. It is difficult for her to keep up with him. I don't have time to explain everything to you, he says. Whatever you do, don't go into the vaults. More than likely, you are going to get separated from me. Run, hide, survive any way you can. More people pour from the buildings on every level. Many carry tools, weapons, or anything that might serve as one. They swiftly exit the city ruins toward the canyons. I don't understand, Oana says as hundreds of shapes erupt from cracks in the canyons and race toward the city ruins. Strange feathered creatures burst into the open. They are covered in flowing pale plumage. Their feathers glow from their frightened state, the storm chasing them out in groves. Get as many skyrunners as you can, he points to the creatures in the distance that are coming their way. What are skyrunners? How do I get them? He points to the smaller pipe he gave her. Use anything you can. Why? You are going to need them to pay for your life if a soldier catches you. What do you mean by soldiers? she asks as he looks at the skyrunners sprinting and occasionally flying toward the city in panic flocks. They come for the bounty, he shouts through the wind. That doesn't make any sense. We have to go now. Culley is already running toward the canyons. Oana runs into the hunting mob, trying to keep Culley in sight at the very least. However, the whirlwind of adrenaline soon separates her. She grabs hold of a half wall on a corridor to catch her breath as people are calling war cries into the storm. People are everywhere, running across bridges and through corridors toward the creatures in the open areas of the canyon outside the city line. Meanwhile, a fog is rolling in behind the flocks. Don't stop now, someone yells at her as they run by. Awanda takes in a large gulp of air as shock grabs hold of her mind. Everything that has happened today is too much. It's too much, she exhales. The desert sand proves to be increasingly difficult. The air grows thick with sand until breathing feels like being back in the vault after the wall came crashing down. She tries to jog with the slower people, but her side and back aches bring her to a walk that looks more like a stagger. Water! She needs more water. The fog crashes down into the hunt, and for a moment the moisture coats her tongue and mouth, pulling her out into the open canyon, if only for this minimal relief. The first creature zooms past her. She gasps, then another. They are bigger down here than when Culley was showing them to her on the bridge. Oana holds up her pipe, yelling into the wind, racing again into an unknown world of bright white and pink storm clouds. Creatures are on both sides of her and in front, flapping wings, jumping, flying short distances, and trying to attack her with their beaks. She goes from courageous yelling to panic screaming amidst the squawking sounds and the other people's tribal shouts. She nearly forgets about the pipe in her hand until one of the creatures is in her face. She swings out of habit, knocking it onto the ground. The creature escapes before she can deliver a final blow. They are moving too fast, she declares aloud to no one in particular. Through a drift in the fog, she sees Culley. She can't believe her luck and is so thankful at this very moment. He swings his pipe in all directions, almost like a dance. He makes it look effortless as he knocks several of the creatures to the ground in quick succession. The quick and powerful movements make him glow like the skyrunners in the clouds, like the handprint on the stone wall and the crystal in the lantern. Thermal signature. He is in his element, no longer playful but powerful. In a moment he moves back into the fog, disappearing as quickly as he appeared. She stumbles over a creature on the ground, no longer glowing. Culley must have left behind several of the creatures he struck, probably for her to gather, or that is her hope. She ducks and dodges around the skyrunners that are still coming toward her to grab the dead ones. They are heavy, and she must tuck the pipe into a pant leg so that she can drag a creature in each hand. She nearly makes it back to the city before the ground quakes, and all the stone in the city rattles to the pounding sound. It is so strong she bounces with each beat. The sound of falling mountains. Seriously, she cries. She drags the two carcasses to the nearest tower. How is this even real? An ashback strider emerges from the fog, stopping short of the city's entrance. It has a spiked leather frill around its neck. The nostrils sit high on the muzzle, which is wide and rounded, tapering toward an upper point of the snout. A coarse fur covers its underside. Atop the beast are about 10 soldiers. A rope ladder is thrown to the side, and the soldiers begin to unpack. Oana abandons her carcasses behind the corridor wall to hide within the tower. She pauses inside, remembering Culley told her to use the creatures to pay for her life. She curses, turns around and peeks out the opening. The soldiers do not seem to see her yet. She crawls out, grabs one of the carcasses, and pulls it toward her. She wraps it in both arms, dodging and diving. Well, more like squatting and shuffling up the corridor to the third level. She limps through the building with the dead creature to the opposite side. Her goal is to reach the bridge to get to the tower across from it. However, the bridge is completely missing, having already fallen some time ago. The sound of soldier boots marching into the city stops her cold. She shivers in terror as the storm creates a brighter environment than the one she woke up in. Everything in the room is carved into stone. There is nowhere to hide. This is impossible. She has her skyrunner, she reasons. She knows where the second one is. That should be enough to buy her life, right? I'll take this building here, a soldier calls out from the foundation level. He takes his time checking out each level of the tower before getting to the third floor. This is ridiculous. Am I just going to stand here waiting to be found? Oana looks around again. She decides to stand on one side of the tower opening that leads to the fallen bridge, wedging herself between a column and wall with the dead creature. Maybe I can throw it like it flew at him from outside. The soldier enters the third level. She holds her breath. He stands before the opening. Come out, he orders. She doesn't move. She remains frozen, watching him through a crack, still holding her breath. I can see your heat signature. He is holding his sword in one hand. His uniform is of the royal colors of Sulvar, orange, gold, and teal. It has fur lining his neck, shoulders, and around his hands. He has pale volcanic skin, a warrior braid, glowing thermal fissures, and sharp facial features. She takes the creature and throws it to the other side of the opening to make it bounce and fall off the ledge like it flew out at him. However, it doesn't go far, smacking down on the ground with a loud thump. She closes her eyes in disbelief. He doesn't say anything. She puts her hands up in the air and walks out from behind the column. Bloody feathers cling to her clothes and skin. He looks her up and down. His attention lingers on her face, then her arms. His expression changes. Go up to the top level and hide yourself under the dirt in one of the garden beds. She nods. Go now, he says. Oana runs back to the opposite entrance, running up the corridor to the top level. There are several garden beds up there. She selects the middle one and jumps onto the surface, where she frantically digs into the soil using only her fingers. She makes a large enough hole to lay down in. She begins using her hands to shovel the dirt in over her. She takes the pipe from her pant leg and puts it in her mouth to breathe through the soil. Below, on the third level, Slane shouts, Clear! As he exits the tower.